I, Douglas B.K. Moylan,
I, Douglas B.K. Moylan,
duly elected Attorney General of Guam,
duly elected Attorney General of Guam,
do solemnly swear
do solemnly swear
in the presence of Almighty God
in the presence of Almighty God
that I will well and faithfully support the Constitution of the United States,
support the Constitution of the United States,
the laws of the United States applicable to Guam,
the laws of the United States applicable to Guam,
and the laws of Guam,
and the laws of Guam,
and that I will conscientiously
and that I will conscientiously
and
impartially
discharge the duties of the Attorney General of Guam.
discharge the duties of the Attorney General of Guam.
So help me God.
So help me God.
Congratulations.
Thank you, sir. Thank you. First of all, thank you all for being here. Good morning, Governor Lourdes Leon Guerrero, Lieutenant Governor Joshua Tenorio, Chief Justice Philip Carbullido, Presiding Judge Alberto Lamarena, Judge Vernon Perez, Judge Elise Iriarte, Judge Dana Gutierrez, District Court Judge Francis Tidinko Gatewood, Magistrate Judge Jonathan Kwan, Senators, Senators-elect, and former senators of the Guam Legislature, Mayors, former Governor Joseph Atta, former Governor Carl Gutierrez, Police Chief Stephen Noxio, Chief Robert Camacho, Fire Chief Dan Stone, and our law enforcement chiefs here, leaders of the CNMI, distinguished dignitaries, and to my family, friends, and guests. Being again in politics, and now in an elected office, I seem to be constantly starting with sentences with please and ending them with thank you. Whether that was please vote for me or thank you for voting for me, we gather here today in the spirit of public service. Let me say with a heartfelt thank you and dankulu natsizuus mase for allowing me to once again serve you. Wisdom comes with age. Although now 16 years older, I feel 30 years wiser. It was through your trust in me and the grace of God that allowed me to be here with you good people. Things I promised to you are now legal policy at the AG's office. It is with the firm resolve that I enter the next 4 years to work with my team, the governor, the judiciary, to protect each and every one of you. When we all work together, our loved ones are safer. I say to the criminals, think twice under an A.G. Moylan's administration. Follow our laws like the rest of us or suffer the consequences. Hurt us, and we will force you to grow old in prison. To reduce crime victims, this AG's administration adopts the doctrine of protect and punish to deter. Let's make no bones about it. The next 4 years is not going to be easy. When the AG goes into court, we're fighting to protect you. We are all safer and living a better quality of life when the AG enforces our criminal and civil laws passed by our lawmakers. Guam's tourism economy cannot afford the lasting scars criminals inflict upon us. I look forward to once again serving you by leading Guam's toughest law enforcers. Now time to get back to work. Thank you.
It's an honor to be here today. Governor, Chief Justice, or Justice, Lieutenant Governor, incoming AG, senators, old senators, new senators, senators that want to be senators, our public auditor in the back there. It's an honor to be here today. I'm grateful for the opportunity, and thank you, Troy. I appreciate the introduction. This is the first time that I can recall ever speaking at a swearing-in ceremony for a public official. I don't recall ever doing that before. It's an honor to be here, and as president of the Vigilance Committee on Guam, it's also somewhat appropriate. That said, historically, it's more likely that I'm getting sworn at than being involved in a swearing in. Historically, my job required being the watchdog and ruffling feathers of public officials. It's what I did for a living. So, since I'm at the podium and I have the mic, and you're the public officials, or at least some of you are, you're free to leave, or you can stay and bear with me for a while. It's appropriate in our government to require elected and appointed government officials and employees to act openly, transparently, and in accordance with the law, rather than using their positions and the law to manipulate information, to hide what they do in a manner they choose to do it. And the operative word in that is choose. Another, Guam is on a very slippery slope when it comes to transparency, public safety, prosecution, confinement of criminals, as well as the executive and legislative points of ensuring we maintain an open government. Another indicator has been ongoing catch and release programs that has our police and peace officers arresting and then seemingly a few days later rearresting the same individuals because they'd not been confined for the wrongdoing. Another public indicator is the fact that our Department of Corrections is literally bursting at the seams. We are also on another very slippery slope as it relates to the ever-growing problems we face with drugs, primarily ice. The physical actions of the man in black involved in the recent shooting at the small store in Talafofo seem to be a clear indicator of just how far we have fallen into this drug pit as a civil society. This drug problem generates ensuing problems such as family violence, assaults, child abuse that have and will continue to be brought to our community unless the drug problems are dealt with in a far more aggressive and forceful manner. Another very slippery slope in this government is the depth and breadth and lack of financial transparency. In excess of $2 billion has slid through the fingers of government officials without clear, definitive, open declaration of to whom, where, when, why, and how it went. So I urge our public auditor to look deeply into that. Our government was created to establish law and order and stability in our free society. This is to be done for the benefit of the majority of the society, not a select few. But for some unknown reason, too many elected officials have forgotten for whom it is they work. They are not public servants. They are paid public employees. As such, the money and information with which they deal belongs to the public as well. They are neither special nor privileged. They are employees of the taxpayers of Guam. Another more recent problem has been the legislature's seeming lapse in forgetting that they are not an arm or rubber stamp of the executive branch, but rather a separate and distinct and powerful branch of government. They are responsible for making and changing laws, establishing the budget for the operations of our government processes, not hobnobbing or brown-nosing with the executive branch. Then the judicial branch of our government evaluates and interprets the laws. Finally, the fourth estate, though non-governmental, in our system of governance, it is to be the press. Their job has historically been to hold the feet of the three government branches to the fire, exposing any wrongdoing and errors of those elected and appointed officials. In my opinion, they, the press, have lost sight of that critical responsibility. That responsibility serves as the warning lights of balance in our free society. If in fact we are to remain free. But I digress. What we're here today for is the swearing in of the sixth elected Attorney General of Guam, a position that carries on its shoulders enormous responsibility for the safety and well-being of our island home. But what is the job of our elected Attorney General? Well, here's what the law says. The Office of the Attorney General aims to serve, protect, and represent the government and the people by enforcing the laws of Guam and the United States. The office is composed of the following divisions: Administrative Division, Prosecution Division, Litigation Division, Solicitors Division, Consumer Counsel Division, Juvenile Division, Child Support Enforcement Division. While all of these divisions have their individual levels of importance, in reality, what do we, as the citizens of Guam, expect our elected Attorney General to do? Well, I suppose that really depends upon where you stand at the time you need their help. Personally, I want to live in a society that's civil, where I feel safe and secure in my home, in my car, walking the streets, going to dinner with my wife, and shopping with my family. I don't want to worry about people selling illegal drugs illegally, entering my community, entering my home, or my personal space. Today, Doug Moylan will once again serve as the elected Attorney General in this fragile island society. As you know, he was our first elected Attorney General and will now become the 6th elected Attorney General. Doug, you have an enormous challenge on your hands and a responsibility on your shoulders. You bear the responsibility for the safety, well-being, and protection in the eyes of our citizens, protecting them from child abuse, family violence, drug importation, violent crime, illegal immigration, and much, much more. That challenge takes enormous capabilities and tremendous interdepartmental cooperation with the local and federal arms of our government. I do not envy you this challenge, but I have faith that you will face it head on. Doug, as you head into your new job, remember the classic words of Werner Erhard. When you're up to your ass in alligators, it's hard to remember your initial objective was to drain the swamp. Godspeed be with you in this challenging 4-year journey. Estamos.